So we are live. Good morning. So Martin here from the Philippines in Real Talk Lifeline. So I'm actually here in Manila with my guest, Doc JR Hilario. So Doc JR, where are you from pala? Just for the
Ayun,
audience.
hi. Hi everyone. Ayun, so I'm JR or Doc JR, but feel free to call me JR. I prefer it that way
Mhm.
actually. Ayun, and I'm from Iloilo.
Iloilo. So nice.
Yes.
Awesome. Yun. So the topic for today, we're gonna get to it. We'll also share a bit of a background on Doc JR. Feel
Mm,
free to ask me and Doc,
mm,
or however you want to be called, no Doc JR. Yun, that's how we just call you. Feel free to ask about my background also, whether related to the topic or if you don't know lang.
all right,
So
sure.
right now, the topic is tips for a melancholic. I recently saw Doc JR do a live on the
Mm,
Fourth Temperaments, and I'm gonna ask Doc JR lang what works to get their life motivated and in order. So I'm just gonna do a very quick share lang. Let's see if this works because
mm.
this is the first time I'm actually doing this over here or in StreamYard. So can you see my screen, Doc?
Yep, ready
All
there.
right. So right now, and I'm going to stop the screen share very fast. What we're talking about is the four temperaments, and we're going to focus over here. If you could see this right now, the melancholic on the lower right. I chose this image because you could very obviously see I'm a visual learner. So we're
Mm,
going to be talking about the melancholic temperament. And then very quickly over here, an overview. You might see some strengths. Apparently, melancholics do have strengths also:
mm.
thoughtful, considerate, organized, detailed, creative, self-reliant. Felt very good to see this last one. But we also have weaknesses. So ito, very, very relatable. Moody, discontent, obsessive,
Mm.
perfectionist. This one hits me hard. Pessimist. Yun. So very characteristic of a melancholic. So I'm going back to our live. So back to us, Doc. Yun, I just want to ask you, Doc, opening up, maybe you could start with a bit of a background on yourself. Based on my research, you've been doing work already for 12 years uh,
Mm.
in government as a doctor, and you also got into Toastmasters. So,
Yep.
which is very, very significant because most melancholics, uh, they deal with a lot of fear, and
Mm.
public speaking is statistically or based on research the number one fear, even above death. I took that up in my training, so it's very real now. So Doc JR, feel free to openly share lang where you're coming from, and then you can dive into the topic.
Yeah. First of all, siguro Mark, I will describe myself as a late bloomer.
Alright.
Ayun. By saying that when I was studying, actually, I'm very oblivious about life. I'm more focused, perhaps because maybe I am melancholic person. At that time, perhaps I still don't know. I'm focused on just myself. So,
Mm-hmm.
and also, considering also that maybe I am very naive during my studies, I'm just focusing on myself, on things that I want to do. So pretty much my life is work. My life is studies, home, tapos perhaps movies and games. That's what all I'm doing. Concerning that I find it awkward to socialize, I actually avoid socializing really, except for my perhaps my classmates. But I really avoid meeting with people, especially in school, or I even actually avoided doing activities as well because I really find it very challenging. Now, when I started working back in 2009, syempre as a veterinarian, actually during that time I graduated and then I actually passed the board exam on the same year, and I started working right away because excited to be independent. You're just being dependent to your family and with limited funds on hand, being a student. Parang I am excited because eventually finally I will be able to be independent, not I'm not controlled by my parents, but it's you are being limited. If you're at home, more or less you are limited by the rules of your parents. And also, of course, if you have your own salary, you can do whatever you want already. So ayun, and what shocked me is that the ways of the world, being
Mm.
independent, managing your own everything about yourself, your finances, your schedules, competition at work. Tapos, ayun, socializing with other people. Kasi, although, at work, since we are consulting at the hospital, we talk with people. And since I don't have background socializing with people, for me, it's a really a mighty struggle. That's the time I realized that ayun, need ko talaga to do something about myself na para I will be able to develop myself, especially on the socially, para para so that I'll be able to deal with my clients better. It's very important. I think for every career, communication is the basic thing that we have to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually, anyway, unfortunately also no, yung boss ko pala before is a Toastmasters, and since
Mm.
na he also benefited, he's also an introvert person. Uh, I'm not sure if he's melancholic. I think he's more on phlegmatic, more than melancholic. It
Oh.
happens that, well, phlegmatic person, if it's that's how you pronounce it, and melancholic
Mm.
person actually is pretty much introverted people. So whereas kanina no, we have also the choleric and the sanguine. These are outgoing people. Ayun.
Yes. Yes.
So considering that we are both introverted, and really find the benefit of being able to join Toastmasters, I think many years ago, and then he introduced me to Toastmasters. Right on that very day, I think November, I started joining, and in 2010, I became an official member. Ayun. So from there, I was able to I don't know, was able to gradually learn how to speak and socialize. Ayun, kasi, di ba sa Toastmasters is really an experiential learning where you will be able to take roles, volunteer, and really practice every meeting. Kasi we meet weekly sa Sugarland Hotel in Bacolod.
Mm.
And ayun, I am able to write and speak publicly, although in a boardroom lang with limited people. But it's good because positive, ano yun, parang positive siya, friendly environment that it's okay to commit mistakes. If you have mistakes or if you have something to improve on, that's what they say. It's not mistakes, but something to be improved on. You will just evaluate you and give you feedback or evaluations. I think that's the right word for you to
Mm.
correct it the next time around. So I've been with Toastmasters for around 8 years already because I stopped around 2014 and just came back during the pandemic. I joined again during the pandemic, and ayun, until now I'm still a member of Toastmasters. And I think Toastmasters pretty much many things, opened up many doors with me, especially on when I was in Bacolod. I also became a member of JCI,
Mm.
where I also um, it also gave me an opportunity to expand my network. Siyempre, if you're joining an organization, ayun, parang you will be able to meet more people. And I think meeting people alone is a good way for you to to learn more in life, because the more you meet people, the more parang it broadens your way of thinking, and also it broadens your as well the opportunities as well. Ayun. Pretty much that's what in a nutshell, that's what happened to me from the past and until today. My
Wow.
story on how to on improving myself from being a melancholic, the struggles of being melancholic, and I think until now it's still quite a struggle because there's still the factor of shyness, awkwardness, and seriousness. But
Mm.
I think I can smile and laugh better these days.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. JR. I'm gonna summarize this because whenever you see my head down, I'm
Oh,
actually writing notes. So this is how I listen. Oops, sorry. So I think Doc JR is gonna be back. Don't worry. we are gonna invite him back here to the live. So for those who are watching, I'm gonna do a quick recap. I'm sending out the link to Doc JR to join back, reconnect. Okay, adding back. All right, so you're back. You're back, Doc.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're
So,
reconnecting. So it
mm,
happens. We're live, so
mm,
we're dealing with it. I'm going to do a quick recap of what you just shared, Doc GR. Again, related to a
mm,
melancholic. So we're usually introverted, shy, we keep to ourselves. What worked to get your life motivated or in order? I noticed 12 years ago,
mm,
when you started, your boss invited you to join Toastmasters.
mm,
And then Toastmasters, you eventually learn to speak and socialize. So I like how you mentioned there's a controlled or a positive environment, like the boardroom. Because
mm,
for us, if we're thrown out into the wild, usually people don't know how to handle us or
mm,
handle us with sensitivity. We get discouraged, we get hurt, could cause trauma. Later on, you opened up, or it opened up more doors, and then you became a member of JCI in Bacolod. So JCI kasi, or I think it's Junior
Junior
Chamber of
Chambers International.
International.
Junior,
So
mm, it's formerly the
yes,
JCs.
the JC. So
Yeah.
there are different chapters. I've met some people here in Manila,
Mm,
different areas, and the gist, how I understand JCI members are, they are people with a very big heart to serve,
mm, mm,
because they really serve doing projects for the community. You coordinate with each other because there are different members and positions, and then you come up with projects. So these are big projects naman for community, the service.
yes. Oh, correct.
So I've seen some of their projects and I have been a part of them now. Meaning I've actually enjoyed or the benefits. So you ended up meeting more people. You ended up having more opportunities, network wise, work and growth wise. So let me transition, because this is 12 years ago or 8 years in Toastmasters. You've been with JCI. What if there's a melancholic watching this and there's still you 12 years ago, but wala silang boss? They don't
Mm,
have a boss or a mentor who showed them the way of Toastmasters or
mm,
something like that. What would you suggest, or how would that person even just start
mm.
from ground zero?
I actually mark usually I don't know
Yeah.
what I often do actually is that sometimes I would have a conversation. I'm actually very enthusiastic about the topic of the four temperaments,
Yeah.
because it's very important for us. Actually listed here some practical tips, and the first thing on my list is that um, understanding yourself and accepting your uniqueness. Ayun.
Okay.
So, lately, I was able to join a certain occasion, and I was able to meet some friends. And from those friends, there's a couple. There's a friend, two friends that I have that became a couple, and they already have this child. And
Mhm.
what I noticed with this child is that their child is actually introverted. That's how I noticed it. That's how I noticed. That's my
Yeah.
observation. And I asked my friend, "Oh, uh, is your child an introvert?" And actually, that the friend of mine said, "No, you know that I and my husband is our outgoing person." Okay, but and I was actually silenced because I know that you may be as an outgoing person, but I know your partner is introvert. So
Yes. Yes.
um, and noticing their child, I know that their child is an introvert as well. Now the problem right now, Mark, with being introvert is that there's a stigma being an introvert. Parang I'd rather be I would like being outgoing is cool and being introvert is not. I'm not sure if
Mm.
you also experienced that. How about thought of that?
Yeah,
Because in the
growing up,
past,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, we would
in
hear
the
that.
past, especially if your parents are saying that, oh, why are you not socializing? Or look at them, they're social. Parents comparing kids, and I think it adds up to that trauma. And I think it's time for us to really understand that there is no problem with being introvert. Well, if
Yeah,
you're a going person, it's good for you. But I also love. I really find outgoing people really cool because they are like social butterflies, readily mingling with everyone. But being person as well is also okay, because you presented to me a while ago that in every temperaments there are strengths and weaknesses. It's up for
yeah,
us
yeah,
to maximize our strengths, and then of course it's also up for us to minimize those weaknesses. And over time, we'll be able to win success in our own ways, in our unique way. Because after all, we are unique, and without accepting our uniqueness, who we are, um, we won't be able to, I think, we won't be able to genuinely success in our life. Maybe if
yeah.
we will succeed, I'm not sure if how happy we'll be being not who you are. Ayun. So, ayun na, sabi ko nga, as I said, understanding yourself is very important. And you have to accept who you are. So usually when I talk with people, what I usually said to them is that, oh, did you know that there are four kinds of temperaments? I noticed that you, well, and then if they ask, what do you think, what do you think, what kind of temperament do you think I have? Or parang something ganyan. And I would share to them that based on my observation, I think you are this. And kasi usually, Mark, we only don't have one temperament. There we have a major
Correct, correct.
temperament,
Keep
and then it would be
just
followed
keep
by a
talking. I'll
second.
try to share my screen again, but keep talking, Doc. Just keep
All right.
talking.
And usually, apart from the major temperament that you have, for me, I have melancholic temperament. And apart from that, I used to think that I have choleric temperament, a second. But I
Mm-hmm.
think right now it's changing to. I realize that it's changing to phlegmatic
Oh, okay. And
right now.
your primary is melancholic.
Melancholic, and I guess kasi there's actually a test for this. It's a comprehensive test, like 50 or 100. But
I heard, yeah.
yeah, and we are talking about this, Chris, before. Sabi niya there are biases when you take the test, and I think it's Kenneth and Chris also said that there are biases when you do it. Number one, comprehension, also how you feel that time when you take the test, because these biases will really affect your second. I think the second and second or the next kind of temperament that you have. But generally, I think for myself, I am really a melancholic person, and then second, I have a phlegmatic, and I think that's the reason, since these two personalities are
Mm.
introverted personalities. I think that's why I'm extremely. I'm not just introverted. I'm extremely introverted. Ayun. When I overthink, I really overthink hard. Ayun. That's why I'm talking with people that I usually share with people that if you have this kind of temperament, it's okay. This is your strength. This is your weaknesses. You just have to leverage on your strengths, and then wag ka parang i-minimize mo lang your weaknesses. There's no problem with being having that kind of temperament, because this kind of temperament, Mark, is not something you can change. I can, for example, for myself, one of the ano, di ba, one of the trait of being a melancholic person is being introverted.
Mm.
And as much sometimes perhaps um, we will appear outgoing, because we can be very careless, especially around our friends, those who we are familiar with, and then sometimes you will think that, oh, I'm an outgoing person, I'm very loud, but actually you can't ano, um, you can evade the fact or escape the fact that you are really melancholic, especially if you're thrown I think the real test is that if you're thrown in a group of strangers, the
Yeah.
reaction that you will have firsthand will really show up. If you're a
Mhm.
melancholic, then you will really show that you are introverted. You will not really readily engage. Just unlike um, unlike sanguine people, that they will readily engage socially. Ayun. So I think this is something that we really have to accept, and because this is very important for us to really move on with our plans in life. There you go.
Yeah. So I'll just repeat Doc JR's point. The next one he said this, it's very important, or the first thing is understanding yourself, because we are unique. So maximize our strengths, and then we can work on our weaknesses. Now, I agree, actually, very enlightening what you shared, that we don't have one temperament only. And when you clarify that, that's why I showed the pictures again briefly. I feel like my secondary is choleric, and then you mentioned that, but you're moving towards phlegmatic. So I don't know if that's partly because of the way I grew up. Like my dad, he was very hardworking. He worked in the bank for many years, that industry, and it's like he was always angry all the time. But very dominant, aggressive,
Uh,
like that. But then I agree that the temperament. I'm not sure if it was Dr. Joe Dispenza who said this, because we have an emotion. Then over weeks or months, they call that a mood.
mm,
But then over a longer period of time, then they call that a temperament. So it doesn't easily change that temperament,
mm,
which I believe. So short story, I went to Cebu for this training with Life Kite with Coach Bam. And then when we were done, Saturday, Sunday, we went on a road trip, and I was singing karaoke in the van. If you didn't know me, you'd think I'd be sanguine or just very fun loving like
mm,
that. But I agree with what Doc JR
mm,
said. There are times after that I just want to be alone. It goes
mm,
back to that melancholic temperament. So it's not a bad thing, again, what we're sharing. It's just more
mm,
for awareness.
mm.
And then I'll try to connect this to another training I learned. Maybe you can give your inputs, Doc JR. So I
Sure.
attended Tony Robbins' training. So it was first Unleash the Power Within, and then I attended, this was in 2020, September, and then in December, I attended the seminar called Date with Destiny. So one of the days he talks about relationships. Just to keep
Mm,
it short and to the point, he talks about polarity. So I'll relate
mm,
it back to the temperament. So normally a melancholic, it's very strange. They would
mm,
actually connect more with a sanguine, or like an opposite polarity, to have
correct.
a good sustainable combination.
True.
If we're both choleric, for example, classic example, you're like parang an Aries and a Taurus, like you're like butting heads
True, I agree.
together.
Mm,
So it's not impossible. It's just, again, for
mm,
awareness. So I love that point. You said it's about understanding yourself. Again, this is related to, even before we get our life motivated and in order, first step I think is awareness or understanding
mm,
ourselves. So when you started understanding yourself, Doc, how how do you take the next step if I'm like, okay, I'm introverted, but I don't have friends, for example, extreme example, like I don't
mm,
have a neighbor or anyone next door, like, hey, friend, like, can we just talk or go out like that? I also grew up very not just introverted, isolated, parang homebody. Homebody. My parents are the type, if I wanted to go out, they would say, "When are you coming home?" So it felt like they just wanted to keep me caged in the house. Parang ganun.
mm,
So how would someone who's aware of that, like I'm a gamer, just playing video games growing up, study, go home, work, go home like that, how do I go, okay, I'm introverted, I'm like this, melancholic. What's the next step of how I do, like, get my life in order or improve? If not, I'm gonna be stuck like this for the rest of my life.
okay, right. Um, Actually, Mark, is that when it comes to connecting with people, I
Yeah.
think it's very important for us to understand that we don't connect just to connect because it will be hard.
Okay.
You just don't go to a particular gathering just because you want to meet people. No, it doesn't. For me, I think it doesn't work like that, especially for an introvert who has a struggle of socializing. Now, for you to connect with other people, what I do is that there is actually a realization that I have before, because there is a traumatic experience that I have where there is a occasion that I was called really boring, and this did not happen just once. It happened, I think, twice, at least twice. And for me, as an introverted person, it's very emotional. Hi, Risa. Good morning.
Hi, Risa.
And
She said good morning. Go
and for
ahead, Doc. Yeah, they're
yeah, and
watching.
for me, who is a melancholic person, and melancholic person, people are very emotional. I easily get
Emotional.
offended. I easily get um, hurt. And for me, I think that's one of the most unforgettable moment. I was really hurt that time, because someone told me that I am boring, and thinking
Wow,
about it,
in your face, Doc. The person said that.
yeah, yeah. The first one was that it was actually a sarcastic comment. The second one is that it's more on the person is trying to make me realize that perhaps you are really boring. Something to that effect. But
Yeah.
regardless of their intention, considering that I'm emotional person, as a melancholic person, I really was hurt, really got hurt that time. And but it leads also me to think that perhaps I'm really boring. And then I realized that, oh no, I'm boring. I don't have hobbies or whatsoever. All I know is games. And then from there, I realized that for me to not be boring and be interesting, I need to be interested as well. And so I
Ah,
how do I do that? How do I do that? It is through, perhaps we have to recognize what we are passionate about. And one of the things that I'm very passionate about is public speaking, and yeah, games as well. So if you love games, which I also do, I think that's during my college I don't have a hard time having friends because I'm always at the computer shop playing Dota and other online games. So I have friends.
baka
And then the
same
same
age
thing
tayo,
happens.
Doc. Dota.
Yeah, Dota. And then didn't realize that. I am oblivious to that. As I said, I'm very naive when I am having during my studies. And then I realized this when I was working already. And when I was able to pursue my passion in public speaking through Toastmasters, I
Mm.
realized that since my passion in public speaking enabled me to meet other people who are also passionate with public speaking. Ayun.
Ah,
So and then from then on, I realized that what else do I want to do? What other passions do I have? And then I started also doing outdoor activities, hiking, running. Actually, the first one is running, and then the second one is biking, and then the third one is hiking. I really love outdoor activities, and from then on, I meet people who also love running, joining fun runs, and then
yeah.
those who love biking and those who love hiking. And from then on, it's a just big network of people sharing the same passion and learning that we have similar passions as other passions as well. So I think that's how I'm really amazed that from there I was able to build network from having passion alone. So I think if you want to have more networks, additional network, you have to understand yourself, what you want, what are your passions, what are your hobbies, because it will start from there. If you're in gathering, perhaps if you love travels, then you'll be able to connect with that person, not just by readily connecting, but with talking by a certain passion. Maybe you'll start with I traveled too, I love traveling too, I love hiking, I love biking, I love talking, do you join contests, something to that effect, because it gets easier from there.
Okay. I'm writing notes. So by the way, for the people watching the live and the replay, feel free to type in the comments if you have any questions. So thank you, Riza, for the shout out. Good morning, also. If you have any questions on, maybe you feel like you're a melancholic temperament, feel free to ask questions because
Mm,
sometimes your question isn't answered here in the live. I'll just repeat what Doc JR said on his point. The last point he said is, well, how do we connect with people if we already have awareness, understanding for self? And he said, for you to do this, um, you can't just connect for no reason. And I agree with that. I can actually relate. You actually need to be interested also. Like, I need to be interested. Now, how will I do that? One way is to
mm,
pursue our own passion. For Doc JR, it was public speaking. But what if it's something else? Well, he mentioned traveling, he mentioned biking, he mentioned it can be anything, dogs, I don't know, right? Like that.
mm,
And then that becomes a reason or a purpose for people to naturally or organically connect or communicate.
mm,
So it actually makes more sense. Hopefully or ideally, these passions are positive because if it's drugs, diba, smoking, drinking, like that, it might kind of lead us down a destructive path, but it happens, right? Just to be aware. And then I love that last point when he said connecting with a big network. So I was already thinking, oh, work, high net worth clients, stuff like that. It's not that pala. Big network is you share the same passion. Now you actually can be connected to bigger picture like JCI, high net worth people, because usually they end up being philanthropists. So
yep.
they have causes which are not related to money. It's very legacy related, talagang big picture. So it can be done, no? It's possible pala. Connecting with people, be interested. What's the clue there? Pursue your passion. And it can be anything. You just made me realize why we're having this live is because of that. As an introvert, melancholic, my passion in Real Talk Lifeline is to have real, raw, authentic conversations, just like we're having now. And it's to help people not give up on life. So, quick sharing. I won't steal your thunder. No side note, side tangent is when I started this, it was really part of healing my depression. So
Mm,
reaching out and learning from people like you, Doc JR. If I get to handle or learn about being an introvert, a melancholic, then maybe I can learn to live my life better. And through enough, we're connecting. And maybe we'll connect with more people. No? Because you started at Prime, right? Toastmasters pala. So yeah. I already feel like my cup is full like with one, two, three big points. If you feel like you wanna wrap up
mm.
or if you feel like you still wanna flow, you wanna share on the topic of being a melancholic, what has worked for you to get your life started in order. And then right
Mm,
now, maybe you feel like you're a work in progress or
mm,
you feel like your life is already on the up
mm.
uh, it's like the direction is already launching off like a rocket ship or something like that. You can share about that, Doc. So yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much, Mark. Ayun, actually, I have a few more points to share as well.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Doc.
Talking about socializing, but well, we a while ago we were talking about connecting, and then just connecting is the first part. Connecting the first part. Now, the problem with being melancholic is that we actually is awkward, and generally we are asocial. So sustaining a relationship is really hard.
Yeah.
So how do we sustain relationships? I think it's
Okay.
very important for us to be genuine. And being I think for us to be genuine is that we have to understand what my realization is that I think the most important for me the thing that I treasure the most in life is people and relationships.
Okay.
I was this actually this idea springs from a particular experience where I was in a very big hotel. Well, sabi ko it's a five-star hotel, and then this particular hotel is away from from Manila. It's outside. I think it's outside Manila, and then As much as during the time, I really, it's really, the place is really good. Parang everything is there. I think kulang na lang taga is a group to share it with. And it just so happened that my friends are very far away. I'm trying to contact them, and I can they can't make it because it's really far.
Mm-hmm.
And so sabi ko to myself, I think it doesn't really parang what is the use of all these luxuries
Yeah.
and tapos without anyone to share it with. Ayun. So that's the time I realized that I think we are working hard, perhaps for ourselves to have a comfortable life for ourselves. But I think being having this comfort for ourselves is not enough. It's not healthy, sustainable enough for ourselves just alone. But it's good. It's meant to be shared with other people, and I think it's healthier that way. I was remembered talking about JCA a while ago. I actually always when talking this kind of topic, I always got reminded of the last two lines of the JCI Creed. It says there that the Earth's greatest treasure lies in human personality, and that service to
Oh,
humanity is the uh, best work of life. Ayun. So I
serving
think parang
man. Wow.
the service to humanity is the best
It's
work
the
of
best
life.
work in life. Wow.
Ayun. So, kasi di ba JCI is community service, and I think that highlights the importance of people and relationships. Although the JCI credit is more focused on the civic service, but for me, on personal level, I that reminds me of the importance of import of relationships and people, and that for me right now, regardless of what we have, the real treasure is the people around us and the relationships we build with them. Ayun. So I think that's understanding that we'll be able to embrace uh, our social engagement and relationship with other people, and it is something that will make our relationship with other people just last for a lifetime, perhaps.
Wow. Do you have tips? Because you're talking about relationships now. I learned a bit about
Uh,
the love languages by
uh,
Gary Chapman. Words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service. Maybe that's our thing, no? Um, Gifts, quality time, and then I think words. Or if I missed another one there, right? So when it comes to relationships, because the line that hit me is, it's meant to be shared with other people, service to humanity. A melancholic, there are times we feel like we just want to be alone. Like, that's how an introvert recharges. Not that we hate people, actually, we love to
true.
serve, right?
Mm.
So, how, how do you have tips, if ever, like when it comes to relationships, on how would a person understand and connect with a melancholic long term? Because many people stereotype us and say, loner yan. O let's have lunch. Ay, hindi yan sasama. Like, they like outcast us, right? So, what would it take for someone to just get along or really connect on a relationship with people like us?
I think it's very important siguro to sow the the sow the information of that's which I always do. And even in my office, if there's a random conversation, I just shared it with them, and sometimes they get enlightened about these four types of temperament because I think many people don't know of this. Because I
Yeah.
also don't know of this until someone shared it to me, and then I think it does a start.
Okay.
If we inform other people, we don't have to educate them. Sometimes we just have to insert it in conversation, and I think this is something that is very interesting. There are times that some people would not like to listen.
Yes.
I think you have to for me. If there are people who would not want to listen to you, you have to evaluate your circle of friends.
Okay.
Okay, because for me as a introvert, I only keep a small circle of people because, as you said, they have limited energy, and I can only devote my energy limited energy to small circle of people. And from there, you might want, if there are people who don't want to listen on what you want to share, then perhaps you might evaluate your friends, because perhaps you are not aligned with each other in
Correct.
that particular part, and you would want to be, for me, I want to be strictly with friends that more or less we should be aligning. If you're not aligning, that was the purpose of, being together. So ayun, well,
It
you might not be friends, but at least perhaps acquaintances lang, for example, at work. Yes, yes, Mark.
Yeah, I just felt like adding on the topic you were talking about. It's very real. I feel this too. You can verify that. I get drained, especially in an environment. Let's say they say to us, "Bawal maging nega,"
Oh,
and then we
okay.
go, "Wait a minute, me lang." I go, "I'm just being myself. Like, what the hell is this bawal maging nega bullshit?" Sorry, that's really how I feel. Like, parang
Mm,
I'm just being very honest and transparent
mm,
here because part of the melancholic is they're pessimistic, right? Or they
mm, mm,
actually, because I heard the story of like Winston Churchill, they're called crisis leaders, meaning when the worst case scenario like world war happens, they actually step up, like they rise up and they like handling that stuff. It's not easy, but they're wired for that. The thing is, if the group or the environment won't accept us, our energy gets drained. It feels like we're
mm,
dying. Now, I just wanted to verify, Doc. When we go to environments like for you, JCI, for me, it was LUAP, Life Underwriters Association of the Philippines, in the life insurance industry. All of them are volunteers. Kahit pagod sila, I will still fucking help them.
mm,
They're not being paid. They're still
mm,
serving. You know, they're serving their face off, or they're giving their heart. I don't feel tired. I'm getting
mm.
goosebumps. It's like I wanna serve. I also wanna carry the weights for them like that. So there are environments where we actually gain energy. Is that true for you, like with JCI, Toastmasters, something like that?
Well, that is, I think it's more on the psychological part,
Mm-hmm.
that's keeping my mental health balance. But as far as energy is concerned, I will always make sure that I'm recharged by staying away from people.
Okay, okay, I
That's
get
my
that
take
part.
on that. For example, if I have, for example, this interview, I make
Mm-hmm.
sure that I have enough break or me time sleep,
Yeah,
because in
after
that
this.
way I will be enthusiastic and optimistic enough to join you this morning. Otherwise, if I'm just from another, well, positive meeting, but I wasn't able to have rest or kind of
Mm-hmm.
me time as well. I think me time is the one of the keywords with melancholic people.
Correct, correct.
It's very important that we distance from people, because I think that's the only way for us to have to regain our social energy. That's actually my terms, social energy. Without the social energy, I think we'll not be able to perform well with others.
Okay.
Sometimes, what, and also when I go to other to for example, to a group, I make sure that my objectives are clear. For example, I go with in a meeting. You don't go there to, you can be yourself, but at the same time you can't just be, you can't just divulge everything that you feel,
Yeah.
because you know, it might ruin the meeting, and just sometimes you would, um, you just have to observe what's best to share, uh, but still being genuine yourself. Ayun.
All
I
right.
think the the times that it's best to be raw and vulnerable, and share everything that you have inside, is that when you are with someone you trusted the most. If I have something negative inside me, something to vent out, I will always seek someone, maybe meet someone, or call someone to vent out all the negativity, and perhaps what I call a sanity check, for me.
Correct.
In that way, I will be able to align myself again, and
Mm-hmm.
perhaps it's a check and balance. It's a way for me to vent out all the negativities, and also check for their insights. Is my thoughts correct, or is it not? Something to that effect. So that I will be able to align myself as well. But pretty much, ayun, whenever I go to meetings or group of people, because when we have groups, sometimes I think we have to very important to define what friends are. Sometimes we go there. There are different kinds of friends. We have really true friends, and
Yeah.
then I also heard someone, they're my friends, but hi and hello friends, something to that effect. These people may not be so willing to listen to all your negativities or problems. So it's best that to avoid sharing sometimes. There are moments in a group conversation that you would have the opportunity to insert that, but if there's no opportunity, you might settle to someone who will really listen to you.
Correct.
That's how I always do it.
So, Doc, just to summarize also that part you shared just now,
Mm,
I actually agree with, I think, pretty much all of it. Some nuances lang, I'll add a bit. So, I agree that we really need the me time. So,
mm,
before this, I exercised, I had to sleep a long period. There are some moments, what I meant, just to clarify, is like we're having a conversation, it's more than 45 minutes already, and I'm still okay. I feel good.
mm.
There are some people we talk to, wala pang 4 minutes. We already
True.
feel like dead on the inside.
Mm, mm,
Because, again, not to judge them, maybe they're just talking about the next basketball game, diba? Or
mm.
they send you like a picture of, poo in the toilet, diba? Yung mga ganon. I'm like, okay, like, man, like,
I
I
think
feel
there
like
isn't just it is there isn't just connection on the things that you would want to talk.
correct,
Perhaps
correct,
that's why you can the conversation can't last.
correct. And again, I learned from my friends also that there's a time to not take life too seriously, to laugh. I
Because we
was
are
just
serious.
very hungry. Yeah, like you, like I also wanted to grow. I don't want to feel like I'm getting dumber, diba, yung mga ganun. Not to judge. And then the next thing you said is opening up. I'm learning this in my training. It's called release responsibly. Now, when I voiced out my side in the branch or in my work, again, not the smartest thing to do. I'm not recommending people to do this, to open up about your mental emotional health like that, or even to tell your manager directly, like, I'm not happy with my work. It
Mm,
takes a lot of guts to do that. Your
mm,
manager could kick you out, or something. It's just, if it reaches a point already, I just chose honesty, or like I got sick of the BS already.
mm.
So I wanted to be in an environment. It reached the point I was like, Lord, put me where you need me. that became my prayer. So my challenge was, I won't, go long on it here, is I tried opening up to my friends, even my family, and still I didn't have anyone to reach out to. That's also partly why I made Real Talk Lifeline. I know that there are a lot of people that even your closest friends, like in your
Mm.
experience, you open up about the dark side. I won't even call it negativity, but like the dark side, they can't take it. And then if you just keep it in, saw that video yesterday. This guy who looked very happy on the outside, like you, Doc, and then they're gonna go, we never knew, we didn't know. The next thing you know, the guy kills himself, and I'm not taking that lightly. I have not attempted naman in my personal experience, but I have experienced days that were really low, as in like I'm ready to go na, like okay na. So, and again, like I could shift the energy, and it's like getting very heavy. I really believe that we need that for ourselves somehow. So maybe you got it through your boss, a total complete stranger. I don't know, an angel passed by Earth, diba? And you met him or her, diba? Like that. So I believe in that. And then after we recharge, we have our me time. We get to socialize. So I just wanted to share that I've had moments like this where I don't feel tired. And I think one of the longest deep dives or conversations I had was like 3 or 4 hours.
Oh,
Like straight, di ba? Kulang na lang, umihi sa puno, di ba? Like if it's face to face, right? Banyo break ganun. But then, yeah, I believe it's possible. And then, like what you said, Doc, we also have to take breaks after that because it's
yes,
the nature of our personality or temperament.
correct.
So yeah, I mean, melancholics watching this or introverts, feel free to also share what has been working for you, because we can also learn. Maybe you have ideas, no? So top of my mind, what Doc JR shared from the start to now, he had a mentor or his boss introduced him to Toastmasters, which was an environment or an opportunity for him to open up, to speak and socialize. There are people in their 40s, 50s, or 60s, they still don't have the ability to speak their truth because Toastmasters really teaches you to speak, diba? Like in public, a positive environment. And then you started having more awareness, understanding yourself, maximizing your strengths, working on weaknesses, connecting with people by passion, being interested, and service. I think was one of the biggest things. The last thing I'd add to your sharing was I learned this from T. Harv Eker, one of my mentors in training. He said that one of the best ways, because people get attracted to money, and
Mm,
one of the best ways to get rich is to solve problems. So if you want the Tony Robbins side more, he doesn't explicitly talk about money. The best way to help people is to solve a problem.
mm,
So maybe like us, because when you play a game, you're kind of solving a puzzle or a problem to get to the next level. Real life though is people's problems are not as obvious or apparent.
true.
But just like in JCI, that's all they're doing. They serve by helping solve a problem somehow. So distribution of vaccines, saving lives, helping poverty, helping
Mm,
in other ways. We could do it on a micro level also.
true.
And then yeah, I agree with that. It's part of keeping our sanity, our not just our energy, so our mental emotional health as well. So wow. I mean, is there anything else, Doc, on for a melancholic to get their life motivated or in order? A lot of tips were shared already. So
All right. I think one of the things that we are missing is that
mhm.
um, the fact that melancholics are anxious people. Do you agree? Are you
Anxious.
having?
Okay. Yeah.
I have also actually, as for me, I'm anything. I actually have a um, general anxiety as well. I get anxious for no reason, but apart from that, I actually have anxiety that are triggered, I,
Okay.
and I easily get triggered with my anxiety. So, for example, as if I'm around people alone, lining up in a fast food, especially
Oh,
before, it can trigger my anxiety around people. So I would like to ask with you, Mark,
yeah.
if what are your anxieties and how do you deal with them as fellow melancholic?
Okay, that's a really good point actually. I wrote it
Oh,
down here. My anxiety might be strange. Like whenever I drive, and it's short, like here from Muntinlupa to Makati, like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I feel like pissing, like when I'm driving the car.
oh,
When I'm a passenger or like I'm commuting, riding the P2P bus, like that, no problem. If I'm commuting, walking.
mm,
So one strange thing I'm learning about anxiety is I heard this line or definition from someone.
no.
anxiety, the feeling is it's the feeling of doing something, but you don't want to do it.
Mhm.
So, for
All
example,
right.
I don't want to drive in Manila traffic, and then I force myself to drive a car, and then there's traffic. I'll feel like pissing. Like in my pants,
Oh,
talagang kailangan ko mag
oh,
gas station or banyo break.
yeah.
So I hope you don't feel that way, like lining up in Jollibee or like that, like pissing in your pants. Pero it's a very uncomfortable feeling, anxiety. Right?
For me, lining up. Well,
Eh, sorry.
actually these
Yeah.
days, I don't feel uh, I don't feel having that much anxiety when lining up. I think these
Hmm.
days I feel more oblivious when lining up,
That's
not
good.
so caring. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good sign that how much I grown up from my with my anxiety and being anxious. Um, but when
Yeah.
it comes to driving, I think I can drive around the city, short drives. But if I am driving, for example, 4 hours, like if I'm driving home because I actually from Aklan, I sometimes go home and drive from Iloilo going to Aklan. That's at least how long was that? At least 3 to 4 hours. That's the fastest way. Sometimes if you're quite slow, that will be 5 to 6. If you ride a bus, that's 6 hours. There you go.
Correct.
So it's really a long ride. And for me, someone who easily get bored, I get bored with monotony, and driving for a long time is for me monotonous. I actually get anxious about the fact that I might fade away on my
Yeah.
focus while I'm driving. So I am really anxious about the possibility of getting road accident. So what I always do is that I need to have someone with me uh,
Yes.
while I'm on a long drive so that I'll feel at ease. I'll be
Correct.
relieved of the anxiety. But pretty much I have a lot of anxiety, really, mostly dealing with the public. One of the one of the perhaps anxiety that I have is the fear of uncertainties, because melancholic people are really should plan and make sure that everything is organized. Otherwise, if there everything hasn't been planned and organized, I will feel I will really feel anxious. I'm not sure if you feel the same, because you can
Yes.
just throw
The
me in a
perfectionist.
yeah,
Yes, it's
something
like
like
that.
that. You can just throw in certain situation without some sort of preparation, something to that
Yeah.
effect. So um,
Like before
yeah,
our
that's why.
lives.
Yeah, I think this is something that I'm trying to work on is the fear of uncertainties. But I think one way that I know that I'm working right now is that we have to understand the fact that life is there are two factors in life, and that is the factors that we can control, usually within ourselves. We can
Yeah.
prepare, mostly within us. Those are the factors that we can control. Other than ourselves, there are factors outside that these are uncontrolled, like the weather, the other people, and I think we have to recognize this fact. And so from there, I think we have to, yeah, really, for example, I think that's what's another thing now that I think everyone is anxious about. Well, maybe not everyone, is about death. How do you feel about death?
I have an answer for that, by the way. Yeah, and
uh,
that's like the ultimate. So
mm,
this is for melancholics, introverts, people like you and me. In my limited experience, I'll give real examples. Let's say driving, and then it's raining, but we get anxious or discouraged. In 2014, I got into motorcycles, big
mm,
bikes. Long story short, I experimented because I was coming out of this 9 year relationship. I was 27 years old that time. No?
mm,
So it was very hard for me. And I rode the motorcycle, the big bike, and umulan, bumagyo. I rode
wow.
it in the rain. Now there are moments like that. So every time it rains and I'm in a car, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, true.
Kasi you know the feeling, diba? Of talagang, well, you're getting wet, diba?
Mm,
Jurassic Park, diba? Parang ganun. And then for death, I started doing ice baths last year, November. And when you feel it, an intense ice bath, like 8 degrees below 6 degrees, man, if you do like 1 degree or 0 point something degrees, like my yellow, and then you feel the hypothermic shock, you really feel like you could get a heart attack if you don't know what you're doing. Like if you're not doing the breath work, yung mga Wim Hof breaths like
True.
that. If you don't have a teacher, like someone to guide you, so it makes little tasks easier. Again, you don't have to do ayahuasca, all this
Mm,
extreme stuff, right? But a mentor taught me, if you're tripping out over small shit, you need bigger shit to trip out over, son.
mm,
So I'm not telling you to try to kill yourself, huh? I'm just saying it helped. But be calculated, because we're very, like us, we're creative or we're smart about it. Be very selective. Don't
mm.
go to some place where it's a uncalculated risk, diba?
True. Yeah, yeah.
We could die talaga, diba? Go cliff
Mm,
diving pero there are sharp rocks below. Don't do it, diba?
mm.
Skydiving, yung parachute mo may butas. Don't do that, diba? Like, so it's that thing helped me. I'm not saying magic wand. I'm all okay now. I still have anxieties. It's just more helpful like that to have like near death experiences. Yun na ganun. I don't know if that would help you, Doc JR. It's something I've been experimenting with.
Yeah, I think Mark, as considering that each of us our have our own uh mean of getting getting anxious.
Yes, yes,
I think we also have to experiment as well on how we'll be able to move on or improve
correct.
on our
Eh,
each of our anxieties. So I'm thinking that that's perhaps the principle that what I'm doing is that we
mhm.
have to recognize the fact that, well, on death, that, well, we are mortal, so we will die. So therefore we have to recognize the fact that we will really die, diba? And
Correct,
then,
correct.
and
Yeah.
for that, if we and then recognizing that fact, we have to start to accept it, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have to slowly but steadily work on it, on how we'll be able to accept it. I think for myself,
Yeah, for you.
I have actually this mantra, Mark, that, well, this is good for any, kasi nga, di ba, I am anxious with uncertainty.
Yeah.
So I have this particular mantra. I'm sure you were able to know of this already. Come what may,
Come
you
what
know, come
may.
come
Yeah.
what may. Ayun.
Okay. Yeah.
So I always remind myself of that,
Mhm.
because sometimes you did your best, but sometimes you know your best wasn't good enough, as they said. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
even though you do if you prepare and plan and give all you have, sometimes it will just fail. Well, it just happens, diba? I think it's part of succeeding. Failing is part of succeeding. So as long
Yeah. Heard
as
that
it
line.
doesn't harm you, it is not fatal. Then we'll just have to what you call this, ruminate on the on getting hurt, because I think it's part of life. We can't always be comfortable in life, and I think being hurt is something that we need to accept as well. And I think
Yeah.
that's also one way for us to for the lessons of that particular failure to really sink in. um di ba nga, sabi nga nila is that if you are experiencing a certain feeling, that's the time you will value uh, the feeling that you are missing at the moment. For example, it's funny really, because sometimes, di ba, if we are normally in the Philippines really hot, it's
Yes.
really hot in the Philippines. So I hope it's cold. Pero yun, di ba, when you turn on the aircon really cold, "Ay, it's really cold naman." So you miss the warm feeling and you go out. But I think that's pretty much the analogy, no? That's with life. We can't really be satisfied with whatever we have, and and considering that are not in control with everything, ayun, I think it's very important lang for us to ayun nang value the experiences, whatever we have, and
Yeah.
then learn. Yep.
I have a question. Have you ever are you married or like have you had a relationship in the past? Yung mga ganun?
Well, I am relationship actually now. I don't know.
Multiple relationships in the past.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, because this is something I'm learning also, like the six human needs from Tony Robbins. We love kasi certainty, which is predictability, stability, the perfectionist side. Then that's
Yep.
part of planning for a
Yep.
melancholic. But one thing I'm learning is the next need is actually uncertainty or variety. And we this is hard for us to get. Like we're like, no, I'll wait na lang until I become financially stable. I'll wait until I become financially independent. Like that. I'll wait until everything is okay first. The thing is,
Okay.
I think what depression is teaching me also, like the feeling of it's I don't wanna think of it, but it's like I really feel like I can die tomorrow or later. It just happens. Like I don't want to feel it, but it's just like, whoa, hello death, what's up? Diba? Parang, are we gonna go already like that? So I don't know for someone with anxiety, like David Goggins, the people who teach this, it's like to be okay with death. Like I don't want to be scared to die. I'm getting tired. I'm getting sick of it. So, whatever way you want to put the meaning into it, like Valhalla for the Vikings, the Japanese, it's honor for them. Uh, that helped me kind of handle the anxiety of that for death, and then for uncertainty, it's kind of like what relationships teach me. If everything is too predictable, meet a girl or whatever your preference is, diba? No judgment. They're gonna put uncertainty in your life, man. Parang, 'di ba? Try to understand women, 'di ba? We're better off doing rocket science, 'di ba? That's a joke.
Right.
Parang good luck trying to understand women. Pero they add variety or uncertainty in our life also. It's a practice. Then siguro the last thing, kasi women can be lethal. Like I learned that
Mm.
from my relationships. I guess have mentors or personal boundaries so we don't, like there are people who do Romeo and Juliet, diba, like commit suicide because of a relationship, yung mga ganon. We also have to learn how to take care of ourselves in the process. So parang extremes yung anxiety. It's like too
Right.
overwhelming or too detached, diba, from life. But
All
it's
right.
also a very good topic on melancholics because we tend to be uh, perfectionists plus pessimistic. Damn, I think Tony Robbins said that like, that's the worst combination of human needs. If your top human needs are certainty and significance, deadly combination.
Right.
Certainty, you want everything to be a certain way, and then significance is like the perfectionist. Like parang I always have to perform or it has to be like this, diba? People have to accept me or whatever like that. So
Right.
you just reminded me of those lessons top of mind. Most important lang is it's not theory. I hope people don't watch this to just, write notes and feel good. We feel it in life, diba? Parang
Mm.
we practice it in our relationships also.
Mark, may I insert as well?
Go,
May I
yeah.
insert? May I ask? Because I'm not sure if this will be helpful with other
Mm-hmm.
people who have anxiety as well. But
Yeah.
will determining your purpose be helpful? Because I think on my part, um, I'm trying to be certain with everything. I always try to be certain with everything, and
Yeah.
I think, especially on my purpose, I think this is something that everyone is trying to work on their purpose. And for
Yeah.
me, I used to believe that my purpose is to be happy. But I think that that changed. I think a couple of months
Yeah.
ago, as I talked with people, because someone said that their purpose is to be balanced. Ayun.
Oh,
So I was really reminded that how I don't actually have belief in what you call this, in a perfect world. What you call this? uh,
yeah, yeah. Like,
the
yeah, I know
perfect
what you're
world.
saying.
Yes, and because
Utopia or something like that.
utopia, correct, utopia. Because being in utopia is something for me that I find it boring. Because everyone is happy, everything is complete. I mean, pretty
There's
much
no
in
growth.
nutshell, in a
Mhm.
nutshell, I think everything for you there is done for. There is no
Yeah,
reason for you to exist because there is nothing to do more, diba? So I think I you're already happy there. Everything is positive and you're already happy, satisfied, contented. So I think this goes back to one of our needs, which is variety.
correct.
Ayun. Which is, we can't be, I think people can't just be stagnant at a particular situation na we can always just be happy and contented, because this is usually the dilemma with retirees sometimes.
Yes, yes.
um
Tama.
they
Like
they,
my
they
parents, they're like
di
67,
ba?
68. Mga ganun.
Uh, someone told me that the moment that some professionals retired by the age of 60, like a few years later, they die. Something to that effect. Because,
Correct. 'Cause
their kids are
they don't have a
already
reason.
accomplished. Don't have any reason. But anyway, ayun nga, going back to my sense of purpose,
Mhm.
yun, we have to be definite with determine our sense of purpose. And for me, I think it's balance because I want to be happy, but I think for us to keep on being happy and I think, yun, value being happy, sometimes we also have to face conflicts. It could be sadness, it could be problems, it could be perhaps anxieties, for us to
Yeah.
value happiness. I also remember that, whenever I have colds, this is where I know where we sometimes we really have to, for us to value some good things, we have to face certain challenges. For example, if I have colds, that's the only time I remember I wish I am healthy. How I miss being healthy. How much I disregarded being healthy. Those nights that you could hardly breathe because you have colds. So ayun, I think for me, my sense of purpose is balance regardless of my age, regardless of our situation. Ayun, and from there, I think that is something that is helping me na considering that I know my purpose, na to keep going and not give up to the all the negativities and if I have anxieties or I have negative emotions, I just don't need to give up because I know my sense of purpose. Ayun. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if we can resonate that resonates with you.
It does, Doc. It's really cool na nga to see your evolution. So to answer your question on parang like on purpose, right? You're asking about purpose. Uh, it is very important. I took a course called Mission to Millions back in 2019. It was in Johor, Malaysia, and just quick sharings about purpose, like in life. It's shocked me. Some of the purpose in life of the people there. 14-year-old girl from, I don't know if it was from Taiwan or one of these Southeast Asian countries. Her purpose, man, I don't know if you'll ever guess this. It was to give to take care of homeless dogs. Parang ganun. Parang to make a
Oh,
shelter. To make a shelter for homeless dogs. Yun, good
right.
morning. I'm not sure if this is Royce, but I'm guessing this is Royce because he's saying
Oh,
buddy.
yeah.
Royce T. So good
Hi,
morning.
Royce. Good morning.
Yeah. So talking about purpose, relating it to you, mine was to help people not give up on life because of my journey. I'm going through depression. one person in Mission to Millions, she's a doctor, or I think she was one of the participants there. She didn't find her purpose in the seminar. So
Mhm.
it's different. And one thing that I learned from that course is your purpose or your mission, sometimes it's not one thing. It changes. 14-year-old girl, her purpose is to make a shelter for homeless dogs. Is that going to be her mission, her purpose for the rest of her life? When she's 30, 50, diba? Maybe, it's possible. But what if she suddenly gets cancer and then she wants to find a cure for cancer? Yung mga ganon, diba? So
Agree.
it is one of the components of it. You were talking about the human needs of on variety. So shift to Tony Robbins. Six human needs of certainty, uncertainty or variety, uh, significance, connection or love, and then growth. The last one is contribution. Contribution is purpose, like what you mentioned. So some people, they have all the money, they have all the connections in the world, they're growing, they're learning, but they don't give back. They don't serve like JCI. They don't have any legacy. They're gonna die hollow.
Right.
It's like a human need pala apparently. So it's like we're filling up the pieces to the puzzle. And ito, if you say utopia, like there was, I remember this from history in college. There was this thing called the Age of Enlightenment. I'm not sure if you
Mm,
know that.
mm,
And then after that, I think it was after the Age of Enlightenment, Renaissance period, Michelangelo, all that, diba? Da Vinci. There
mhm.
was something called the Dark Ages. So you don't have to actually force the utopia because a dark age will come. We don't have to ask for it. If you don't believe me, find a friend, a girl. You think it's perfect all the time, mag-aaway
Mm,
yun. One
mm.
day,
True.
it's just gonna happen, man. So I'll read. I think this is Royce. No, accepting I don't need to force the ultimate purpose, focusing on what could my purpose be here and now. And
Yeah.
if that is Royce, that's a really good example. Because to me, he seems like this very happy, positive guy, kind of like the polar opposite of me. But then he high energy. But I don't think he's a melancholic man.
I don't think Rice is
Gonna say
melancholic.
that, yeah. But his purpose is different from ours.
Yeah,
Maybe
true.
he doesn't have to deal with depression or anxiety and stuff like that. So
I am actually would like to comment. Yeah, hi Royce. I would like to comment actually on Royce because actually
I
would
right.
like to I would like to actually Mark to respond on the things that you're talking that you're sharing just now. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to organize my thought on how I'm gonna say it until Royce commented a while ago that his purpose is what he is doing here and now. I think
Yes.
yeah, true. True. I think that's the key word there. You don't have to force your
Yeah.
purpose. For example, one of the things that I observe is yeah. Let's go back to Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my I'm passionate with public speaking,
Yes.
and then well, I started working with people, improving myself, and then on the process, right now I'm working on not only communication but also on leadership, and on the process, I'm also well, I'm not like JCI who are giving you this relief goods or anything, but I also am giving back something, and that is the lessons and the insights that I have developed over the years, and I think that's my way of giving back to the community as well. Because there are new ones, I am the
Yes.
well the more older ones, so I have them something to share. So I think that's the key word there. You don't have to force what the things that you are passionate at the moment that you do. Parang it readily gives you a means of parang you don't notice sometimes that you're already giving back because sometimes it's so natural. Sometimes you feel oblivious to it. Ayun, I really agree. Thank you for the comment of Royce. That's
Royce.
very enlightening. Yun.
Yeah. Yeah, he said that about you don't have to force it to your
True.
ultimate purpose. You could just focus on what could my purpose be
Mm.
here and now. So
Ah,
I'm not sure if Royce, is that the temperaments, or are the four personalities different from?
I think they're pretty much the same, but I think the
Okay.
temperament is more on a much more appropriate one. Sometimes
Okay.
being called the four personalities, but temperament
Okay.
is, I think, the right term.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He clarified. He clarified it. So that's the topic actually, and we're talking about melancholics because we're both melancholics.
Melancholics.
Hopefully the notes help. Very thankful also, Doc JRD, of your sharing about uh yung you said anxiety also. I didn't really think or consider that. Mine was a little different, like on the depression side, which is like a
Yeah.
little deeper or longer. But anxiety, I did have an anxiety attack maybe once or twice. It was towards the end of my 9 year relationship, and I
Oh.
understand it's also serious or acute. Like I had to pull over. This was like one night, C5, driving home. I had to pull over to the side. I had an attack where I couldn't control it. I started feeling like crying out of nowhere, and it felt like I had like liquid salt going up my spine. Then my body became very stiff, parang rigor mortis, and then I felt like I was gonna die. Like if you play an RPG or a game, it's like there was a doom counter on my head, like
Mhm.
five, four, three, two, one. I was like, what the hell? Like that. So felt really ugly, and it was hard. So if people are going through that, uh, man, like any tips, any help would be appreciated. It's good enough already that you just shared or opened about it. So yeah, so for Royce's comment, we were talking about, I believe it was sanguine, melancholic. I'm just following the pattern that he's saying now. So sanguine,
Yeah.
melancholic, choleric, and phlegmatic.
My way
So
of defining that one actually is that when you say choleric, it's literally like when you say phlegmatic, like pretty much follower. They're polar
yeah,
opposites. And then when you're sanguine, pretty much they're sociable. And then when
mhm,
melancholic, they're asocial. Something to the these four are like polar opposites of each other. So that's my way of remembering the characteristic of each choice. And anyway, talking about Mark about anxiety, actually my mine luckily is a lot milder. I actually also experience this anxiety. It just happens out of nowhere. Mine is
mm,
milder one. The feeling of being uncomfortable and you wanna cry. That's
yeah,
how I felt. On the depression side, I think this is perhaps common among melancholic people, being anxious and being vulnerable to depression, because perhaps maybe it's overthinking. I don't know.
yes,
But my experience with depression is that there are times that this is actually during the time when I got sick, and I feel like I feel like I think I really feel bad. And then, were you able to experience this where you perceive the world as black and white? Well, you can see the color visually around you, but it's
oh,
as if you felt that the colors in your mind look like black and white. Suddenly there's a lack of purpose. Like I think that's the worst thing that I've experienced. Is it just happens around 5 seconds or less. So and then I try to fight it back because I don't want to to sunk into it. It's a terrible feeling. So for that's my experience with having depression and anxiety, and I'm glad that it's the milder one.
mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing, Doc JR. I haven't experienced the black and white, parang Pleasantville, the movie naging black and white,
Yeah.
like visual. I have felt that thing, like the purpose, like it's like I don't know how to say this in my lowest moments. It's like, again, I'm not that religious because my background was Roman Catholic. Religion was shoved down my throat. It was forced, and I hated it. So it's more like reaching a point wherein God, or Lord, like whoever you believe in, the universe, it's like, can you like parang ano, it's like take me na or something, like I'm ready. Or if like you're gonna put me in hell, parang I don't know, like just I want to be able to handle this. Yun. So wow, I actually didn't know about this. So
Oh,
some people
Royce.
actually experience what you did experience, Doctor Hill.
Yeah, that's great to
So
hear.
yeah, I mean, wow, I didn't know that.
Did you know, Mark, that I actually encountered the word Chunibio Effect.
Really?
It's a sorry, let me adjust my chair. There's a Chunibyo. I'm not sure if I'm reading it right. Chunibyo effect. That it's like I forgot the definition of it, but I think it's from anime, where parang
Oh, okay.
exaggeration siya of anime
Mhm.
that you're talking about parang if you're Chunibyo, you are believing that you're someone else. Like for the
Mm.
kids, if they believe that they are on their mortal body, the reality, but actually they are something else. Like they are perhaps a superhero from other universe, something to that effect.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think I have that also a bit of Chunibyo.
Is it a good
Perhaps
thing? Or like is it like
it's
imposter syndrome? Or parang it's a good thing, like you're just here to do your
it's
purpose.
I think that I think if it is that worse, I think it's not that good because
Okay.
it's I find it really delusional. You're believing
Okay.
something that is not realistic. And as for myself, well, I'm not sure if this also applies to mine because sometimes I had also your feeling that um yeah I also believe that I think I'm maybe it's also from the sense of contentment that I have. I think I experienced everything already. I think I have
Mm.
already done that there is to be done. So sometimes I'm okay, something to that effect, and sometimes
Ah.
I think I'm okay with lifetime. So I'm ready for my next lifetime, something to that effect.
Okay.
I'm not sure
Okay,
if
I
you
get.
also experienced that one, but that's also how I feel. But anyway, whenever I have that feeling, I try to shake it off, and I try to remember my whys and purposes for me, to keep going because I think I can do more in this lifetime.
Yeah, yeah, that's relatable, Doc. I think after 2014 happened, it felt like a lifetime of mine passed. So I was like, what else is there for me? Because I felt like I gave everything I got emotionally, I don't know, maybe even spiritually. And then I felt lost, like falling into the abyss or, like that. Now, I'm not saying I'm the worst example. I know a guy who went to jail, again,
Oh,
medyo close to home. So I'm not saying he's the worst example necessarily, but that's extreme. Because when he recently came out, at least he looked like he was. I don't know. I don't know if some people go to jail and it's actually good for them.
mm,
Like parang si Martha Stewart or something like that. But a lot of people, syempre, it's not a good experience. So for us, I guess sharing the journey for some other people, hopefully it helps them, have awareness. Like maybe I'm not alone. I didn't know about that, like that experience. Some people here, like Royce, actually experience the black and white moments like that.
yeah.
So it happens among us also.
And this black and white home moment happened from someone who is sanguine, right? Royce is sanguine, right? I think
Yeah,
I feel that Royce is sanguine.
yeah. He seems like a happy guy, but I had to learn to not, judge the totality of a person because he went through something also, right? So he said this. So it's a universal thing. It doesn't happen the same time. The timing of people could be different, right? But
Mm,
what we're sharing here are the lessons. So someone might experience this in their 20s. I'm 35. Someone can experience this in their 40s or 50s,
mm,
like that. So yeah, I believe that's true. You also said something about purpose earlier, Doc, and
mm,
retirees who are like in their 60s, like that. I heard that they get Alzheimer's, they die early because it's a human need to have that sense of purpose.
Correct.
Ideally, please make it something true, like in Mission to Millions, true to yourself. Because I'm not sure if this is common in Filipino culture. If the parents make their child their purpose and then they just lock their children with them until they're very
Mm,
old, that's not healthy because it fucks up the
true.
kid. Sorry, I just have to
Correct.
let that out. Now we're doing our best to just try to find ourselves, find our own purpose. Some people move out, some people leave the country even, and it takes a lot of courage to do that. So we're not here to put anyone down. We're just
Mm,
here to share actual experiences and lessons. So again, for the melancholics who struggle a lot with this, hopefully the tips are helpful. Some other temperaments, personalities, maybe their strengths are more in their favor. If you're sorry, maybe the sanguine, I'll say, if you're more outgoing, you tend to have a more positive disposition or demeanor in
mm,
life, then that's good. But even them, they also have their weaknesses. They have blind spots, diba? Maybe they're too reckless or aloof. They don't know their weaknesses. People could take advantage of them. That's why we're here to complement and help each other. So I'll be reading one of these last comments. So I read an example. So the midlife crisis, loss of purpose from chasing
okay.
financial success. What's left after you achieve wealth? So we'll do a quick share on this. Doc, you can also share about your personal example. When I went in the life insurance industry, November 2014, it was very tough in my first full year, 2015. 2016, 2017, 2018, I did $1 million round table. So that's like a high achievement, like one of the high, parang top 2% in the industry, whatever, yung ganon. And maybe you can relate, Doc. Whenever you have an achievement, you usually downplay it because you're like, no one cares like that. But financial success, that's actually why I took my first seminar 2018, the Millionaire Mind Intensive, because you can have, I'll say it this way, you can have $1 million in your bank account. And then one day, I go to the motorcycle shop, the casa. I buy a motorcycle for 500,000. I withdraw the money from the bank, cash, naka-brown paper bag pa yun. Buy the motorcycle, I'm happy. The next day, I look at my bank account and I go, what if I do that again? So zero na yung bank account. So I felt like an imposter. I felt like you worked this hard, this long for this, and then tomorrow you're worthless, you're zero. So I kind of felt this, the comment, uh, and I was very unhappy, very unstable actually. So that's when I went to the personal development. So for
Ah,
you, though, I don't know if you have a similar
um, for
experience.
me, actually, I also have this kind of goal that I want to have 1 million in bank account.
Yeah.
Also, did you know that I wasn't able until now? I wasn't able to achieve it because, well, number one, when I was able, when I'm almost there, I need a car, so I bought a car.
Buy buy stuff. Yeah.
I bought a car, and then one of my realization lately, as far as my finances, being financial free is concerned, is um, I, I I I am no longer putting too much in the bank because I think it's not wise.
So
So
you
I try
invest.
to, yeah, that's what I do. I have little money in the bank now. I think I only have
Mhm.
like 100 only. I
Yeah.
secure 100 or 200 only, but the rest of that is something that I put into something else to make it grow. There you go.
Correct.
But um, changing the top, going back to purpose, as Royce, I think this is Royce on
Yeah.
midlife
Loss of
crisis.
purpose.
I think I don't want to focus too much on my goals. Last time we had a meeting about New Year's resolution, and I have been not doing my new list of New Year's resolution, nor I am doing my goals list already. And I'm happy that someone else actually shared it to the group that, what is your New Year's resolution? And she answered that, I'm trying my best not to have New Year's resolution. Oh, that's also what I'm doing. Because the problem is that if I have this particular goals list, I end up being disappointed because many of which I failed to many. So what I do and what that person do is that whatever they want to do at the moment, maybe we have a goal, certain goal in mind, but we are not very um, idealistic about it. And whatever we are doing that right now that we want to do, we just do it right away. That will lead to that particular goal. But I don't set a particular goal that ideals for me to reach that goal, because it's very disappointing. And I think for me, it's really counterproductive. Also, I make sure that my goals are holistic, because sometimes if we, for example, Roy said that a loss of purpose of chasing financial success, I think this is from the perspective that you are too focused on your financial success only in life, that you forgot
Yeah,
anything else. And for me, as I said earlier, I realized that you can have all the luxuries in life, but if you don't have someone to share it with, to enjoy with, I think that's meaningless. So I focus on many things. On parang it's really holistic. It's good that I was able to make more money, but it's very important for us, for me, to keep my relationships and also to keep pursuing what I want to do more in life. So I think we have to really be holistic in our approach in life, to keep our sanity and to keep on being happy and healthy
yeah.
as well.
I would agree and fading out on the comment because every year I'm not sure if it's December or January they ask us to write our goals. I share this with Royce. So there was one index card for company goals, but like you, Doc Jr., I agree. I actually wrote an index card wherein I don't know if it's here with me actually here, but I wrote goals and they were my own goals.
Mm.
So let's see if I have it actually. Lives are so impromptu and unpredictable. Oh, here, let me write it. I got wet because when my nephew and niece came over, they spilled bubble juice all over it. So there's that whole because I said I would thing. So this is like a work version. They asked us to do like it's not New Year's resolution but goals. So it's very work related, production, income like that. And then I asked Royce. I actually made one like what you said, and it's different. So it's nothing to do with insurance, my
Yeah.
work, that, and you could see lines like that, like find work that I love, heal myself, do my mission. I mean, if you tell that to your manager, nothing but love for my manager. But sometimes when work is black and white, they'll just say, "What the fuck is that, diba? San yung KPIs mo, diba? Where's your production like that?" But like what you said, not everything is just about financial or production. So that's an actual example. I wrote this, I think, just last November. I think last November.
I
So
I, I love what you read. What I read on the second. I love it. Yep. I
yun,
think
because you mentioned it, and wow, it
it's
was
not
here.
wise to it's not wise to show it to your manager from, well, from your manager's perspective, but I think
Yeah.
it's healthy for yourself and for those who care. If someone else who cares for you was able to read it, they will be very proud of you.
Thank
Of you
you.
writing it.
And I shared that on my Facebook. I shared naman the work version for our output. I shared the personal one also on my post, my personal page, because it's also, this is my belief. I don't know if you see it, the bigger picture. Agent attrition or work in the workplace attrition. For me it's trite. Like it's gas na. It's like, man, this is old shit already. This is getting repetitive and boring. I've seen people leave. The attrition rate in insurance, like agents, is very high. if like 100, if 10 people enter and apply, only 3 will remain after 1 year. But I've also seen achievers come and go. And I've seen $1 million round table people in my branch also leave. That's like top 2%. Why are they leaving? Like, what's going on, right? And then, the more personal thing for me related to the mission is, why are people killing themselves? So it, makes me sad lang. I'm like, and I know the feeling. Like, I don't want to be a statistic, but sometimes we know the feeling personally. So yeah, I mean, it, as you said, it's a balance. So our purpose evolves, and hey, if some of us our time comes already, just do the best we can, man. Full out, 'di ba? Keep lifting the weights until you drop it, 'di ba? Parang that's
Right.
how we go na lang. So wow, like
I think.
the topic really evolved, no, from
Right.
tips for a melancholic, which I believe it's still aligned.
Mm.
And this is what has worked for both of us, and some people shared in the chat, to get our life motivated and in order. So, Doc, if you want to share any closing words, just because it's 12 o'clock, like we hit lunchtime. I
All
don't
right. Yeah.
mind with the time, actually. It's just you might have an appointment. I have another meeting after. Uh, any last tips or closing messages for
Yeah.
melancholics, introverts watching?
I'm pretty much know that I was able to share already the things
Yeah.
that perhaps melancholic needs to perhaps apply in their life as long as they find it applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps two more things.
Yeah.
Um, Considering mental health, as far as health is concerned, on the recent conversation that we have about goals and on purpose, I think it's very important for us to make sure that our goals on purpose doesn't is not a copy from other people. Uh,
Correct.
I
Correct.
have I have actually met someone, and she shared to me that I think she's more than 20 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and around that age she is still struggling what her purpose is, and she right at the moment she is thinking about helping other people for or making change in the world, something to that effect.
Yeah.
So but I felt that this is something that each one of us already heard or maybe has copied from other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um, and by saying that, how will you be able to do it? You have step one. So I think it's very important to look into ourselves. What do we want to do first for us to know what really our purpose is? Because from there we will be guided in our life. Ayun. So we have just to be genuine on who we are for us to know our purpose. And siguro as part of my parting words, melancholic people are very serious people.
Yeah.
Yun, we could, di ba sabi mo nga,
Thank you.
you
Thank you for
reminded
putting that out there.
Oh, you reminded me to ano kanina, you reminded me to smile. Sorry, I wasn't able to put on the smile. So usually what I
It's
actually
okay.
remind
I understand.
I actually
Or
one of
resting
the
default face.
yes. Actually, you use one of the things that I actually take note whenever I talk with people or whenever I go to gatherings is that, well, when I have all my social energy gathered already, filled up, very important me for myself to be reminded to be sensitive to all positivities. In that way, one of the first step perhaps is that you always have to know how to smile and laugh at the smallest of things, because sometimes I think I am, for myself personally, sometimes I am being insensitive to all positivities, such as if someone make a joke or some sort or situation is funny, or there's someone who had committed blooper or someone created a mistake. Sometimes likely a melancholic person will be serious or will blame someone, or will feel what you call this, will feel bad if something bad happened, something to that effect. So some what I do, for example, if I'm in a car, there are traffic and all, what I do is that I really comment on all the kamote drivers and then laugh it off, smile and
Mm.
laugh it off. Convert something negative into positive, and always smile. Be sensitive to if there are bloopers, if there is untoward incident. Of course, that is not harmful, of course, or fatal to anyone else. Instead of making serious face with it, perhaps you can laugh it off, because sometimes it just happens, and it depends on our frame of mind on how we will react on it. Always smile and laugh if you can, because having this frame of mind, I think, will really change how we view the world and what will happen afterwards.
Wow, thank you, Doc JR. I'll end my closing words just to add or complement to what you said on finding purpose and the last thing you said. So make it original, your own. Some of us tend to copy. Nothing wrong with that. It's just when you come from a more genuine or original place, it's so much better based on personal experience. Also, a tip is you don't have to really force it. When I took my Mission to Millions course, with T. Harvecker. And then Tony Robbins says this: your purpose usually comes from your greatest pain. Now, here's the thing: you don't have to be melancholic like us, uh, like Royce, for example, or some other people. Your purpose can also come from a very positive place. Like you're just so happy you want to help people. A mentor said that to me. He said, "Your cup runneth over." I think that's from the Bible. So you're just giving from your overflow, your abundance, right? That could be your purpose too. Then to end on the last point, the line that really hit me, because it's not just being sensitive, because we tend to have a very serious emotion or disposition. The humor I see, and I actually find that funny. Maybe some people don't see that, like the dark humor or the British humor type. But my favorite line that Doc said was Doc Jer said, convert something negative into something positive. And I believe that's something that we melancholics do. And it's like magic. T. Harvecker calls that the law of utilization or alchemy. So it's turning shit into gold. You turn a really bad thing into something really good. And I believe melancholics do that. Or else we all would have fucking killed ourselves by now, diba? So anyway, that's that's humor, guys. If you don't get it, thank you so much, Doc Jr. You can end on a good note. You could say one last thing if you want, and then we can end the live already with this. So I'm thankful for this almost 2 hours with you.
Of
I
course,
still
yeah.
feel good. I still
I,
feel very awake. I'm
I
gonna
told
enjoy
you.
my lunch with this. And you're smiling, so
I
yeah.
told you it's
Any
gonna
last
take more than
words?
1 hour. Anyway, once again, Mark, thank you so much for having me here.
Mhm.
I am actually willing to talk with you on this. I'm sorry, I lost my video. To keep on going, but I guess it's already time and we need to have lunch.
Yeah,
But I
it's
hope,
like
uh,
a
but I
necessity breaker.
yeah, but I hope everyone, every melancholic out there, and the rest of people with different temperaments was able to get takeaways from this conversation. And thank you for our supporters, from our friends Royce,
The
Risa,
live.
and everyone else for being with us for the entirety of this live talk. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Mark, for this opportunity.
So thank you, Doc JR. So we are signing off with this live. Thank you. We love you, and we will see you next time.